Well, we're coming to the Legislative Council to do an interview here with Chris Robertshaw. The budget speeches are still going on. Alf Cannan has done his bit. 1 hour 15, I think, almost it came in.
Yes, it was quite long.
Now, you had one of the first goes after the Chief Minister, and, well, you are the sort of lone wolf still out there. You had quite a lot of things to say that you aren't happy about. I mean, how do you kind of summarise it? Yeah.
Well, yes, I mean, let me summarise it in two parts if I can. Alf wrote out a lot of good issues that are going to be well received out in the public arena, and I totally support them. But I think we're in danger of getting carried away if we're not careful, and I thought it was appropriate to bring some cautionary notes into the debate. The areas of major concern for me are the fact that although government is posturing that it's saving money, the vast bulk of the savings effectively are coming from, or improvements in the position, are coming from A, increase in inflow of funds from VAT, NI and tax, and because the economy is working better than it was during that awful recessionary period we went through in the last administration, it's also the case that the benefit outflow has dropped, and that effectively is, as it were, covering the government's embarrassment, where it's not really, in terms of its, and this was the essence and the sense of what I was saying, the cost of operations for the Isle of Man government itself, the internal body, is not being controlled. And looking at the entire life of this House, I argued this morning that as things stand now, if you went forward to the next election, this current administration will be overspending at the rate of £10 million a year, and it's cumulative, so that they'll have overspent by £30 million as things stand at the moment. So, as it were, the benefit is coming from outside into government, but government itself is not yet performing. That's really the first point that I need to make. The second key point is that where government is, as it were, trying to spend less, it's retrenching into itself, it's drawing in, it's moving back from service delivery and supporting itself rather than the reverse. It should reinvent itself, become more efficient and push more money out to frontline services. So we've got the reverse of where we should be, and yet we still can't, as it were, save money in cost of operations. So I'm really cautious about that, because the evidence would show from all the forecasts that we've got that if the Isle of Man does experience a further period of recession, say in the next administration, the impact on the account, bearing in mind government itself hasn't learnt to become a leaner machine, would be quite, well, very damaging. So that was the essence of what I was saying.
A lot of backslapping going on in there. You probably feel that's the mood there, because I mean, although Laurie Hooper was giving a bit of
there were similarities between what Laurie and I were saying, and certainly from my perspective, as somebody who sits in the scrutiny committees and doesn't sit inside departments, it was my duty to sort of calm the fevered brow of excitement in there.
So you are going to support it, aren't you?
Yes, I am, but I'm always concerned about what next. I think Alf's performance was good. I think the Treasury is doing its best within the limitations that it's got. I'm not convinced at all that the departments yet get it, and that's the essence of what I was saying.
Is it spend feel then? Is that what? Yeah.
I felt the reaction when members first became aware of this year's budget was a little bit erring towards the danger of complacency, and that is such a dangerous thing. I mean, in my working life, the thing I feared more than anything else was a success developing and then finding that actually you'd relaxed and become complacent and lost ground.
Like the good times are here.
No, they're not. No, the good times.
Did you not feel like it was really? There was a sort of this is it. We're all having a great time now, in the sense of we're powering forward. Is that sort of feel to it?
The economy is doing better. But we've got to be awfully careful about the degree to which government slaps itself on the back, as you've said, about the growth in the economy, because conversely, in the last administration, you couldn't conversely blame the last administration for the recession. These are big macroeconomic issues. At the moment, it's bearing fruit for the Isle of Man government, it's bearing fruit for the island. Historically and previously, it's been very damaging. But it's not something we can pat ourselves on the back about. It's just given us the opportunity to use less of our reserves. But there's a big task ahead. I mean, I don't want to go back to those phrases which I think you get pleased about, but
yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. But we really. I did use words, for example, like disintermediation. The government hasn't got that yet, and empowering frontline services. What we are is increasingly a bureaucratic organisation, progressively limiting its frontline services. It should be the reverse. It should disintermediate or deconstruct the bureaucracy and push empowerment out and funds out to frontline services.
Can you give it 1 out of 10 on this one? I mean, this is one of those things like, how do you rate, not his performance, but how do you rate the actual budget?
The budget's fine. Alf's performance was very good.
Yeah.
The budget was good. The failure is in the administration itself not grasping the challenges that it needs to pick up.